So I'm here at Tully Gorge National Park. I'm still in the southern Atherton Tablelands. It's about, I don't know, 30, 40 kilometers east of Ravenshoe, the town still in Queensland in the wet tropics. And so I'm at this trail, I think it's Tully Gorge Trail, and I'm really not sure what's on the trail. I think it leads to a nice overlook, at least that's where I'm hoping, where I'm going to hike for sunset. And there's lots of nice clouds, so we should get a nice sunset. But it does look like a little bit of rain might be rolling in, so unfortunately I might get a little wet, but we'll see. So I'm camped up the road about 15 k's at Loomba campground, where I'll stay for the night, and then I just drove down the road to this trail where I'm going to go for sunset. Well, alright, let's go do some photography. So it's still about 2 hours until sunset, and it's not really a long hike, it's just about 1 hour. But I really didn't have anything else to do, and I want to scout out a composition, so I decided to get here pretty early. Yeah, and if for some reason there's not a composition at the end of the trail, I don't know what I'm going to do for sunset today, just because there's really no other areas around here to shoot. There was a river on the road, maybe 5 k's up the dirt road, but I'm not sure if I really want to shoot that, but if I have to, I guess I will. Yeah, but I'll just keep going and see what's at the end of the trail. So I believe I am still located in the wet tropics, because the Atherton Tablelands are still in the wet tropics of northeast Queensland. So it's in the rainforest here, and there's all these nice ferns and just such thick vegetation and pretty interesting plants. Hard to get a picture of this stuff though, because there's just so much and it's just so chaotic. It's really hard to kind of single something out. So the trail kind of ended in this like little pond thing over there, but it looks like there's some rocks that I can climb up over here that might give me some sort of view. So I'm really hoping, otherwise this would be kind of a wasted hike. But yeah, we'll see. Oh yeah, it looks like there's gonna be a nice view. So it is a nice overlook of the gorge and everything this way on all these rocks. And all these rocks form the cliff up here. So I'm just going to kind of hop around, look for different compositions. But I'm sure there's got to be something to photograph tonight. Even that little waterfall back there that I just saw would be pretty interesting to photograph. Yeah, I just hope it doesn't rain and hopefully the light does something good. But yeah, I'll just look around for a composition. So after wandering around a fair bit, I think I finally found a composition. What I'm gonna do is there's this little rock pool by the edge here. I'm gonna put that in the foreground to the left and then have the gorge in the background. And I'm also gonna do a panorama. And I'm not sure if the panorama is gonna work, so I'm gonna make sure I frame my vertical shot just how I want it to take a picture and then balance the camera so I can do a panorama as well. It's just a bit of a sketchy location because on the back here, there's this drop off that kind of leads to this little fast flowing river. So if I slip down there, I could potentially slip off the cliff. And it's right towards the edge too, so I gotta be careful. But it shouldn't be too bad. I'm usually safe when I do this sort of thing. Just gotta be vigilant and pay attention. Don't think we're gonna get any dramatic light in the sky tonight, because it's just way too thick and cloudy, unfortunately. But I still wanna wait until more towards sunset in case we do get some good light, and just so the sky isn't so bright and the highlights and shadows kind of match and there's not too high of a dynamic range to work with. So I'm all set up, and it took me a while to balance my tripod just because these rocks are so unbalanced, and to get the composition I wanted, it was a bit challenging. So first I'm going to focus as close to the camera as I can. Then I'm going to focus about a third of the way through the scene, and then I'll focus on the mountains in the background. And I'm going to have to do that for every single shot for the panorama. But I'm using a circular polarizer because these puddles in front, the polarizer will cut the glare off. And I'm also using a graduated 3-stop filter, so that's causing to hold a lot of the detail in the sky so I don't have to bracket these pictures. And I'm shooting at 1.6 seconds, f11, ISO 100. I'm not sure how this is going to turn out with the panorama just because there's all these rocks in the foreground. So it might not look too pleasing, but it might be okay. It's going to be kind of a pain to stitch all this together, to do all the focus stacking for each image and then make it a panorama. But we are starting to get some clouds that are rolling in over the hilltops there, so it's pretty nice. And we still have about a half hour until sunset, but I'm taking pictures now just because the light's pretty good. Well, actually there's no sunlight, but it's all pretty balanced. And then kind of one of the problems with this composition as well is it would be much, much better if you could see the bottom of the gorge in the image. But unfortunately, in order for me to get that pool in the foreground, I had to cut out the gorge so you can't see the bottom. But I still in a little bit might change my composition after I get a few more rounds of panoramas and all that. And we are getting some nice clouds rolling in over the top, so it's adding a lot of drama to the image. Even though there's no sunlight, which is unfortunate, still the clouds make it pretty cool. So I'm just going to keep shooting for the next couple minutes, still about 20-some minutes until sunset. So hopefully something will happen. At least if more clouds roll in, I'll be pretty happy with that. So I actually did decide to change my composition, and now I'm doing just some self-portraits because we're not going to get any light tonight, and I think for what I was shooting, that's the best shots I'm going to get, for the good or the bad. So now I've got it set, my composition here. Yep, I just got a wide open shot of the whole kind of gorge down there, and I'm running down to the left bit. There's kind of a rock on the left there that I'm running down to. And I've got my camera on a 6-second exposure, so I gotta make sure I stand very still, otherwise I'll be blurry. And yep, got a 10-second timer and then taking 4 consecutive images just to increase the chances of me getting a clear shot. Then I decided to wear my backpack as well while doing the self-portraits just to add another element in the image, Kind of makes it look a little bit more adventurous, I guess. And I'm also shooting this same composition without me in it, because now I kind of like this composition. Because the way the rocks form, they kind of lead the eye back to zigzag through the mountains there. And how the mountains are curved too, it just kind of adds like a leading line, and all the shapes really add to the composition. Yeah, that's it. Always helps if you're struggling on finding a foreground interest for a landscape, is to put a person in it. And if you're by yourself, you can also just put yourself in there by, again, setting a self timer and then running down and taking an image. Well, that's all for today's video. Beautiful lookout, simply spectacular. The images I got, I think, are okay. It would have been a lot better if we had some nice dramatic sunlight, but I kind of do like the clouds and kind of the little moody look of the day. I don't think that was too bad, so I'm sure I came away with something. Well, now I'm gonna head back to camp, make some food, and then call it a night. Tomorrow, I'm not too sure what I'm gonna do. I might try and head to White Mountains National Park, about 6 hours south of here, and then eventually I'm gonna head into the outback of Queensland, if I don't find something interesting between here and there. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.